locking in to do this. And then Polygon reported the same. This headline reads, "No, Blizzard isn't blocking people from deleting their accounts." And it reads right here, "Whatever the case at the time as of today, Polygon has had no trouble submitting a ticket to delete a Blizzard account." It varies from case to case. This is something that I don't want to make definitive declarations on, but I want to show you guys both sides of the fence. And that brings us to another prominent individual who has taken to protest Blizzard's recent actions. We've got casters and streamers like BMK Gaming, who is very popular in the esports scene and among the Blizzard community, expressing his discontent at everything that's happened. Now, in these first 3 paragraphs, BMK Gaming looked at things from both sides of the fence. On one hand, he said that what Blitzchung did was very brave, speaking for the liberation of his country despite the potential ramifications and potential danger to his own life. On the other hand, he did say that he doesn't believe Blizzard didn't have the right to issue some kind of penalty, but then down here he says that there are additional factors at play, and he talks about how far Blizzard went to the point where it definitely feels like they are appeasing to China rather than enforcing tournament rules. It reads right here, "All that having been said, there are additional factors at play here. The punishment meted out to Blitzchung is incredibly harsh. I could understand a fine or even a short suspension from competitive play, but removal from Grandmasters, clawing back the prizes he already earned, and banning him for a full year seems completely overboard to an extent that feels completely unwarranted and unfair. I won't pretend to understand either the intricacies of the geopolitical situation in China and Hong Kong or the full extent of Blizzard's business interest there, but to me, this penalty feels like it is deeply rooted in both. The heavy-handedness of it feels like someone insisted that Blizzard make an example of Blitzchung, not only to discourage others from similar acts in the future, but also to appease those upset by the outburst itself. That kind of appeasement is simply not something I can in good conscience be associated with. When I learned about the ruling, I reached out to Blizzard and informed them that I no longer feel comfortable casting the Grandmasters finals at BlizzCon. I will not be a smiling face on camera that tacitly endorses this decision. Unless something changes, I will have no involvement in Grandmasters moving forward." And then finally, he emphasized that not everyone has the luxury to be able to do that. Not all casters and streamers and employees at Blizzard can afford to partake in this kind of protest. So he asked that people don't lambast those people, because ultimately it is an up to casters, streamers, and kind of ground floor employees at Blizzard to make these kinds of decisions. And I think that's a great sentiment. I think this was extremely well said, and given BMK Gaming's prominence in the esports and Blizzard scene, I think this statement will certainly spread and make a big impact. Next up, I want to bring this up again, the college Hearthstone players who, during an official college Hearthstone tournament, put up this sign right here that reads "Free Hong Kong" and "Boycott Blizzard." Turns out that website Vice reached out to these students to ask them about their thoughts on this whole situation, and here is how Vice reported on that. So here's a quote from 19-year-old college student Casey Chambers, one of the 3 American University team members on the stream, and he said this: "I have 15,000 rounds of Hearthstone. I am done. The game we lost last night was my last game of Hearthstone ever." And then it reads right here, all 3 on the stream, Casey, 19-year-old Corwin Dark, and another player who wanted to go by their online handle, T-Jammer, felt the same about Blizzard's response to Blitzchung. So Dark here said, "When we met for practice that day before the tournament, we were all thinking the same thing, that we wanted to do something, because obviously we were the first thing on Blizzard's stream after they made the decision. If we did nothing, we were missing a pretty big opportunity." Dark also added, "We liked that because it would force Blizzard to either pan away from our camera, which they actually did, or cut our camera off, which they did a little bit during the match." And then the article further extrapolated on the situation with this paragraph: "None of them have heard from Blizzard about what happened, though at some point the company will have to talk. On Thursday, they're supposed to continue forward in the tournament. Either way, they don't plan to continue playing in the tournament, but they do want Blizzard to make the decision to kick them out and ban them because of their protest." So basically, these college protesters, they're still in the tournament, but they're wondering if Blizzard will actually go out of their way to officially ban them, which would be extremely bad optics. And even if Blizzard decides not to ban them, according to